Hey guys, welcome back to Cossack Customs. Mark here. I know I've been gone for a while, but I'll explain in the video on why I was gone. Today we're going to be working on a old Manco Go-Kart. It had the original 6.5 horsepower motor in it. I bought it when it was kind of separated from the engine or from the go-kart itself. I did a couple of modifications to it already. I'm working on the brakes right now. We're going to kind of go through this together. I'm also going to show you how and what I did to it so far to make it to what it looks like right now, because it did not look like what it is right now. So let's jump into this and we're going to start customizing this go-kart. All right, let's jump into this. Okay, so this is a 2000 Manco Go-Kart. Okay, when I got it, it didn't have any of the lights on it or anything like that, or any of the wires. It was that seat. It's kind of garbage. The front tires were completely flat and completely like dry rotted to where the bearing on the inside of the actual rim itself was so seized that it wouldn't even roll. So I got rid of those. On the back, these are the tires that came with it, with the rim. That's why it's black. They were just not beaded. So I just had one of my buddies who works at a tire shop reseat it, put some bead sealer on it, and now it's good to go. It didn't have a motor that was any good. It came with it, but it had more spider webs than spark, let me tell you. Other than that, that's the original steering wheel. You can't even put the most go-kart steering wheels, actually, I will show you guys real quick. Most go-kart steering wheels look like this, right? So you'll have the 1, 2, 3 holes in it. Okay, so don't fall on me. Boom. 1, 2, 3 holes in it, and then you could bolt it up and have a steering wheel. Problem is, this is so old that the original steering wheel is literally 2 bolts. There's one that goes through, and then a seating bolt that makes it nice and, I guess you could say, like tight right there. So it works. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still works. It's just old, right? So it has the suspension in the front. Okay, it doesn't have independent rear suspension, but it is suspension in the front. Those shocks are not the greatest. Okay, they're really tiny. I thought about just getting new ones. When I came here, there was no bolt for this one, so it was just kind of hanging. So I put a bolt in there, a couple of washers, and called it a day. That was it. This was all blank. Cut out all of the crap that was out there, blew it all out. It's been sitting for 3 years out in the desert, snow, sun, everything. Okay? So when I picked it up for a couple $100, I had a lot of work to get done. Now let's start from the beginning. We're going to start in the back first. First thing I wanted to do, put a Predator 212cc 6 horsepower motor in it. That was my first thing that I wanted to do, because this thing can get up to like almost 40 miles an hour stock from Harbor Freight. Okay, this is the perfect motor to put in this size of go-kart because it's a single person go-kart. All right, so the first thing I did is I had to, obviously you have to line it up, because the sprocket that comes with the go-kart is down there and it's already on, and then the brake actual rotor, I guess you could say, right there and there. Pretty old, still rusted. So there's the chain. I bought a new chain for it, the correct chain. I think this is a 40 series chain. And best way to put, what the hell is that? Oh, it's just fuzz. The best way to put these things in go-karts, and the best way to run a clutch, is probably a torque converter, because you get more power out of it and it's just better delivered power. They're like $60. I mean, the clutches are 20, these are 60, and these are way better than a clutch. So if you have the money, get a torque converter. Don't put the clutch on it unless you just want to burn it out real quick, or just, if you want to do it, that's fine. It's just, I want this to last a while for my kids, right? So first thing I did is, you go on YouTube, and I will put the link in the description below for the video for it, but it is a governor bypass system. So these things are governed. There's a huge swing arm like hanging out here, and you guys have seen probably if you know the engine. Yeah, you get rid of all that crap, and you literally just attach it to this right here, and this is your throttle. That's it. There's the carb moving right there, like that, okay? That's your throttle. There's no governor now. It bypasses the governor system. Watch that video on how to do it. It's very simple. Literally anybody can do it. It's like 9 minutes long. Watch it. Get it hooked up that way. It's way better. Unless you want the governor on there, that's fine, but I took mine off. I also got an air filter kit. Comes with the adapter, comes with the choke holder on top, and it just breathes a lot better than the original one. Now the original actual air box looks like this. Now there's a difference between this one and the other one that comes with this motor. This is a Hemi. This is a what they call hemispherical actual like head in there for it, okay? This is the air box that came with it. This would be for a Hemi. This is the Hemi. No, this is not like a Hemi like in a Dodge. It just has the same basic concept. That's why they call it a Hemi. And then the exhaust, I bought a bar for the exhaust. Now remember, this motor is not made for this specific go-kart. That's why you got to kind of fab it a little bit. The exhaust comes off of here. I had to cut it because it got in the way. Like literally it would just hit this, and it was like, it's like this long. Well, problem is it didn't work, so I just cut it with the angle grinder, and boom, put it on with the original gasket. Now it sounds mean. This is the original one. Okay, this is the original exhaust. It does quiet it up a little bit. If you ever ridden the go-karts at a casino or one of those little parks or whatever it is, that's what they usually use to quiet them down. This isn't quiet anymore, so it's nice. The breather on the gas tank, you have to have it. This is just a fuel filter. I just stuck it on here because it's a filter. You at least need a breather on here so it gets air in here so the gas can flow into the carb. And then there's another little tube here, right here. This comes off of the actual valve cover, and I just stuck it right here. It's not connected to anything, but it's got to breathe too. It needs air in there. Came with a new spark plug. If you've been watching my videos and you don't know how to change a spark plug, then, well, watch another video, because that's the most simple thing you can do as long as you have the right socket for it. So that's the engine. Once it's mounted, you get the chain. You fit the chain perfectly. You slide it back. You lock down the engine. You want just a little bit of slack in there, not very much, but it goes through the sprocket that comes in here, which is right here, down over there. And literally, as you hit the gas, the belt, the actual torque converter does its thing in and out, and it will turn the engine, or turn the sprocket from the engine to where it needs to go. Okay, guys, that's the engine. Now, second thing, there is no charging system that comes from the Predator, this specific Predator, unless you put it in there. Now, charging system basically is like where a flywheel turns around a charging coil, creates electricity, and sends it out through a wire. Now, a lot of people use that, like in the bigger go-karts that you can buy online. You can use them. They have them, but they have a power inverter. Now, if you want to do that, go ahead. Or if you want to buy the 420, the bigger version of this motor, that's fine. They come with a charging coil. That way you can actually charge your battery and then hook things up to the battery, and you never have to worry about your battery dying. If you're going to do that, make sure you get a power inverter from AC to DC. They're like $15. Buy one of those, attach it in here, and then go from the power inverter into the battery, and it'll charge the battery the whole time while your Predator motor is running. And then it can power your lights on a kill switch. You just turn your lights on and off with a switch, almost like it's your car. So this big blue wire right here, the original Predator comes with a kill switch on this backside. So this little red knob, right? So you do move it up, move it down, kill, on, whatever it is, right? Yeah, I took all of that off because I am not going to reach behind my seat when the engine's been running and it's hot as shit and try to turn it off. So what you do is you get rid of the oil pressure sensor, which is this wire right here. Bloop, right there. Cut it. Don't need it. Okay? Oil pressure sensor is like if this was a log splitter and it fell over and your oil pressure sensor sees that there's no oil, it kills the motor, which is great. That sounds awesome until you're in a go-kart going over bumps and jumping around and hitting berms and doing donuts and stuff. Now the oil gets splashed to one side. Your sensor realizes there's no oil just for a split second and kills the motor. So get rid of the oil pressure sensor. Just be careful, make sure there's oil in the engine when you do it, okay? So get rid of that. What you'll do is this one right here, this wire, this runs to the spark plug or to the actual coil. it runs through here, and then this goes up this wire here, and it's grounded. Typical kill switch. If you don't know what a kill switch does or how it works, look it up on YouTube. It is there. There's very many different ways to do this. I just did this because it makes it easier for me personally and the children. So bullet connector here, connected the wire here, connected the bullet connector here. So literally it runs from the coil and the spark all the way up and all the way down through and into the steering wheel. Now I put this on here. This is my kill switch. Technically, it can be glowing green, but I just didn't hook up the ground to it. Okay, this is what this does right here. This is my kill switch. How I remember, that's off. Green means go. This is not go. Go, not go. So that's the kill switch so the kids can hit that, shut the engine off, and get back and get out and be fine. So I just had to run the wires up through here. One goes into the kill, one goes into the spark. You ground it out by turning the switch on, and the engine will stop. All right, so that one is pretty simple. Next up is lights. I wanted to put lights on it just in case, but being that this does not have a charging system, and they're just LEDs, so it's not going to draw a lot of power, I just put lights on it. So I bought these off Amazon. They're like 13 bucks. They're not expensive. I have them on my quad too. So they're bright as hell though, let me tell you. Like really, really bright. So they actually came with lights, but it's 2000. So, I mean, that's like halogen, old school light, right? So you don't need those anymore. We go with LEDs because they're bright, and those other ones were not that bright. So what you do is you mount a nut to the original holes, right? Or make your own bracket, weld it on, drill a hole, boom, there you go. Now you got a bracket. Aim them the right way, up, down. I have mine one set up a little bit, one set down a little bit because I don't have brights, so they're on pretty much covering the whole entire road. Bolted up, and then I took the wires from both sides, wired them together, obviously, because it's going to go to one battery, and then ran the wire all the way through to this section here, which is whatever. I don't really, like I said, I don't really care what it looks like as long as it works. And then I ran the wires up and over, and I bought a brake light for a quad and just wired it in that way. No, this isn't actually a functional brake light. Okay, the brake is not hooked up. As you can see, the brake pedal is right there, and it's not hooked up to anything. It's a regular brake pedal. This is illuminated as the brake light, so all of the LEDs light up really bright 100% of the time while the lights are on. That way you actually have lights on the go-kart 100% of the time, so someone can see you in the front and definitely see you in the back, and it's very, very bright. That's why I wanted to do this. I'm going to turn the lights on so you guys can actually see, and then how I got it to work. Okay, here's the second part right here. Okay, so here is how I had the wires hooked up to a battery. Now this battery is just a normal 12-volt battery. It's like 4 amp hour. It's nothing big. I think it came with my garage door opener or something like that. I have a bunch of batteries that I have laying around because of all my scooter videos and stuff like that. So what I did is I took a bracket, piece of metal, and I welded on 4 pieces of steel on 4 sides with holes in it, because it has holes in it, and then welded it onto the top and to the bottom of this bar here, because this is good metal and easy weld, right? So I put double layer all on the top, and I'm not the best welder, so it obviously looks like crap. But the point is it works and it doesn't move. So now I have a battery box, right, that I made myself. Then I took bungee cords, wrapped it around 3 or 4 different times. I don't even know what I did. I just made sure it didn't move, and the battery doesn't move. Like, it is all solid, right? Then all you do, instead of a kill switch, because kill switch would work, right? So like I could wire up a kill switch for this, but I feel like I'm not even going to turn on the lights unless it's dark outside. So what I'm going to do is I take my ground, right? And I'm not going to really plug it in. I'm just going to move it to where it's on so that you guys can see. Okay, as I was. Apparently this wants to be a pain in the boot. There we go. That's good enough. So now it's on, right? So then we go to the front and the lights are on, right? Now I got headlights. Boom. Those are always going to be on, and they don't flicker. It's not being charged or anything. It's directly to the battery. And then same thing. There's your tail light, and that is pretty bright, okay? So that's on 100% of the time. So they can ride around or do whatever they want at nighttime, and I got the lights on, battery won't move. Then when they get back, it just disconnect the ground, stick it in between, lights turn off, problem solved. And that is an easy way to wire up some lights on a go-kart. Just want to show you guys, this is why I was deployed. I'm currently in the Air National Guard and was overseas in the horrible country of, you don't want to know, for 6 months. So I wasn't able to make any videos or do anything, but had a lot of parts sent home. So just wanted to let you guys know that's one of the reasons why I wasn't making videos. But now that I'm back, it's time to get started on all these projects. So let's get back to the go-kart. Now you might be wondering, where's the floor? Well, let me tell you, it didn't have one. It had no floor. What you see here, it's cut, right? This was just hollow. There was nothing here. I was like, how is someone driving a go-kart with no floor? Maybe someone needed some sheet metal. Well, I can tell you right now, based on the prices of everything, sheet metal is not cheap. So I had a bunch of, because I have a bunch of scrap metal outside I work with, and this is just a grate. One of those shelves you guys have seen in those big box stores that have the orange arms, kind of like a Costco shelf, but they're like metal grates. I cut one of those, fit the size, and welded it on the back side of it all the way through. So now I just have a graded floor. Yeah, it might not be the best job in the world, but hey, it works. I can stand on it, jump on it. It don't move. It's not going anywhere. Kids have ridden it before. Works fine. I've gotten in it. Works fine. People are probably going to wonder, well, what about if things get kicked up? Well, I haven't had a problem with it because the back tires is what kicked things up. These things right here kick things up bad, but you're already gone before it hits you. So, and then same thing here. You run it over, it's not really that big of a deal. Unless you're running over a piece of sagebrush or a big pile of leaves and it comes up through, maybe. But it ain't going to like whack you or hurt you. So it's not too much of a big deal. And then just, you know, hashtag aerodynamics maybe. I don't know. Anyway, you can see all the weld marks that I was doing. So I welded it underneath and it ain't going anywhere. So that's the floor, I guess you could say, of the actual go-kart. Okay, I'm going to go over the brakes real quick, and then I'm going to start this guy up so you guys can hear what it sounds like. And then I will get a video of the kids riding it, or probably just my daughter riding it, who seems to be my dummy for all of my projects. Get her riding it so you guys can see what it looks like riding around. So let's go into brakes here. This is where I'm stuck, and I just figured it out. Now this cable right here did not come with it. I had it from one of my motorcycles that I built, an extra brake cable. Now this is the caliper here. This is obviously a hydraulic one. I got to figure out how to mount this onto the actual frame of the go-kart. What I was thinking of doing is there's a big bracket that comes with it. It just sits here. I don't know why. It's just there. Okay. Lift it up a little bit. Probably weld this bracket to a piece of metal, which will weld it to here because I'm not filling in. That's too much. Get a piece of metal, shove it in, weld, 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 and then it'll hold this where it needs to go. And then it fits perfectly right over the top of the rotor. Then that cable was like not even a foot long, which wasn't going to help me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this cable that I got for it, that I put on, all the way down. There it is, right here. Okay, take this and probably flip it like here and put it here. And there's going to be a piece of metal. It's not going to go on this bolt here. Well, we can just put it there for now. It's going to be a piece of metal that's going to run down and it's going to be angled this way. So when I hit the brakes, this will go forward and this will go back, which will put pressure on this to go that way, which will push the fluid in through the thing, collapsing the caliper and the brake pads onto the rotor. I apologize for the focusing. Boom. I got my brake, right? All I have to do is figure out how to mount this, and I don't want to weld this, so I'll probably nail this or weld it to a plate, put it up, and then stick it down here a little bit more, weld it to this frame, and then literally as you lift up on this, it pushes against this and causes the brake to work. So, and then obviously I'm going to probably zip tie or something like that, the brake cable itself. Hydraulic is way better because what originally came with it was this. This is just a regular thing. It's nothing, it's like a mechanical brake caliper thing, right? So it's nothing special. These are like 40 bucks, and I don't think they're worth it, to be honest with you. I tried to make this work. I tried welding it on, broke the weld. It was horrible, and it barely ever worked anyway. So hydraulic is the way to go if you have a cable that works. So this would, like I said, it ain't made for this go-kart, but I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to fix it and put it in there. So get rid of that. I don't need that no more. So anyway, that's the brake system. Once I get that mounted on there, it should be good to go with some brakes. You only need rear brakes in these things. You don't need front brakes. And in case you guys are wondering, they're from Harbor Freight. Usually you can just get tractor stuff, tractor tires, I guess. You can put them over here too. Same thing, same tire. Just put them over there, okay? Rack and pinion steering. It's a good go-kart. I thought about ripping it all off and painting it, but kids don't really give a crap, so neither do I. The seat, I'm not even going to worry about that right now because it still works. Seatbelt still works. The buckle's garbage because it was sitting so long. So I'm going to buy a new one of those. But those are just petty stuff, petty cosmetic stuff that doesn't affect their performance. So let me start this thing up. I'll show you how to start it up. And then so you can actually hear what it sounds like with the new exhaust and the intake on it. One disadvantage of not having the filter is choke on or is choke off? I don't know. Well, it's easy to remember. Closer means more gas, and then your gas switch is right here and actually has a label, so it's pretty easy to remember that one right there. Other big thing, make sure your kill switch is off. Green means go, which means the engine will start. So if the choke is on, all you got to do... Oh, crap, I probably should have mentioned this for you guys. So this plate right here, this cowl cover, actually was rotated this way. On the Predator motors, this handle is over here. You know, I think that's not good for a go-kart. So I moved it, literally unbolted it, spun it, put it back, and put the sticker back on so it looks like right side up. Now, it's easy, just come back here and yank on it. There's one. A little gas. Yep. Now I think we got plenty of gas. There we go. It's cold as hell. There it is. Woo! Runs pretty good. Well, idle's perfect. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a rundown of the go-kart. When this is done, when I get those brakes on, I'll show you. All right, and then I'll show you a video of my daughter probably riding it around. So kill switch, right? Green means go. And that's not, and it dies. That's how that works. So makes it so much easier for the kids and for me, so I don't have to reach behind a nice hot engine and try to turn it off. So anyway, guys, you know Cossack Customs likes to customize everything, and that's kind of what I did with this. So like, comment, subscribe if you want. I really don't care. Anyway, when this is done, I'll maybe do an update video on my next video because I'm not quite sure what I want to work on next. Possibly upgrading a 12-volt motorcycle like that one to 24 because my kid says it's too slow. And I guess that's kind of my fault for doing that. So my also son wants this Razor quad that he has to go faster. It goes 7 miles an hour and he goes pretty fast on it already. I don't know if I really want to double the power on this one yet. Maybe a 36 volt. I don't know. If he crashes, I'm going to feel so bad because he is nuts. You guys have seen him riding around in that Jeep before, right? So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. Don't really care. If you got a question in the comments, you know I do pretty good with answering them. So, talk to you soon. Cossack Customs out.